Thank you so much, Mr. President, for making time to be with us on Sunday Live.
Okay.
So the question of insecurity is causing great concern right across the country, whether it's Bungoma or Garissa, in Nairobi, all the way to the Tana Delta. Kenyans are asking, what's the government doing about security?
I think the first thing is that we are just as concerned as Kenyans. And I think one of the first issues that we took in place, and we've been having those sessions, is to deal with this particular case, with the Garissa situation. Today, to say nothing less, no less than the Deputy President is up in Bungoma, right? Again, we're looking at that situation, because ultimately insecurity is not the kind of environment that is going to enable us to achieve our economic agenda. Is not the kind of environment that's going to be able to deal with the real issues that deal with Kenyans. But ultimately, we agreed that we are going to take a much more proactive role. And we do understand that our police force also has some issues in being able to deal positively with this, and these are issues that we are looking and seeing how we are going to address, especially through the budget, and trying to use a couple more innovative ways of mobilizing our security forces in order to be able to make them more proactive and responsive, improving their own living conditions, so that we improve the morale also of the security forces. But ultimately, what we're saying is that the true and surest way to deal with insecurity is to also deal with the issues of unemployment and poverty, especially amongst our youth. But ultimately, the position of the government is that we will equally not entertain a scenario where individuals will want to take advantage of their particular circumstance to cause misery upon others. And in this particular regard, just like we did when we sent the team through and meeting up with leaders also from those regions, we are also not going to take it lightly on any individual, political or otherwise, who will use the issue of insecurity, right? Or threatening, be it our cattle rustlers or whatever. For us, a criminal is a criminal and will be handled in accordance with the full force of the law will be met upon the person. So we are taking it seriously. Like I said, we mobilized the team down in Garissa. The Deputy President is also in Bungoma addressing leaders to get to the root cause of some of these issues, and ultimately dealing with strengthening the police force. And like I'm saying, coming up with much more innovative ways of ensuring that they are much more capable and ready to handle situations of insecurity wherever they may occur, as well as working towards improving their own quality of life and conditions, so that we also are able to boost the morale of our security forces, who we know are doing a good job, but really require a lot of support going forward in order to be able to ensure that they deal with this particular situation.
So assurances for the Kenyan public there. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the nominations, the nominations to the cabinet. And a lot of speculation was created by the delays, all kinds of stories. Let's just try to deal with them right now. President Uhuru Kenyatta, why were there such delays in the announcement of the initial 4 and then the next, I think it was after that you did another 12 and then the 2 after?
You know, to be honest, people may say there were delays, but I can assure you there weren't. You know what people look at? They look at the date of when the election was announced, but they forget that we went through close to a month as we were going through the process of the judicial process, you know, because as a result of the petition, which is again where we were all focused. Then soon after, we were in the process of preparing for the inauguration, right? And ultimately, I think we had 2 weeks, and it was only 2 weeks post the inauguration when we now started looking at this particular situation. And what happened, so that you're 100% clear, is took a decision, and we communicated with my coalition partner, who is my deputy president, that this time round, we want to go for professional.
Right. That's what I was going to refer to, yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, for us to do that, we started looking around, and we said, what's going to be the basis of our decision? Because, I mean, there's a lot of very capable and very qualified Kenyans. And we decided, let's start sending word out, and we had nobody in mind. You know, this is what people need to know.
So it was a fresh slate.
Actually, it was a completely fresh slate. Nobody in mind.
Nobody believed that. Everybody thought a government comes into power
I can swear
with
to
names.
this.
Yes.
No, we had nobody in mind. Not a single individual. All right? And we started calling out for CVs, right? Using our own networks, yeah? People who would be interested, because at the end of the day, we needed people who were interested. You don't want to look for people who are not interested. We started looking and seeing people in different fields who, you know, we thought could contribute. We started calling them up individually. And then ultimately we said, let's talk to these people. Let's first of all tell them what our agenda is, right? Let's see what they have to say about it. And ultimately let's ask them, would you be willing to work? Because we don't want to now call Julie Gichuru over at Citizen and say and announce it on the radio, only for her 1 hour later, you know, to say, I'm not willing and I'm not interested. And we talked,
so breaking from the old
We
patterns.
talked to, I think, over 100 and something people during that 2-week period. And I can guarantee you that there was not a single day, right, that there was an issue of URP or TNA or, and even to prove it further, you need just to look at, if you saw what we had as a pre-coalition agreement and what we came up with, yeah? There were areas that we had said would be the preserve of URP, areas that we had said would be the preserve of TNA. But at the end of the day, when we found a particular person and we thought this was the right person for that particular job, it didn't matter whether it was designated URP or TNA, it was the person. And we thought this person can help us deliver here, right? Irregardless of wherever they come from, right? And that's why in some areas, you know, we've got individuals who come maybe from the same county, but after discussing, we say, we want these guys, right? And we went ahead and now we were saying, okay, we need the balancing, we need this, we need... but then we said, no, but we also need these individuals because we've promised Kenyans something and that's what we must stick to.
I must ask, Gilu and Balala?
To be honest, with Gilu and Balala, there was again never a cause or question of dispute. When we went out to the people of Kenya, and I think our campaign posters, our campaign ads will testify to that. We went out as a team, as a coalition, as an alliance of myself, William Ruto, Najib Balala, Charity Ngilu. That's the coalition that we presented to Kenyans. Like on the other side, there was Raila Odinga, there was Kalonzo Musyoka, there was Moses Wetangula, and they had, those were the principals. Honestly, the fact that they lost does not mean that we didn't campaign and work together. Yeah? It would be wrong by any standards, Julie, that you and me walk a path together, right? We campaign, you slip and break your leg, I manage to cross the line, and then tomorrow I pretend that me and you did not walk together. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
And that's why we felt that as a senior coalition partners, yeah, it would be a grave injustice, right? If just because they didn't make their respective individual votes, right, that we should leave them out of a dream and a manifesto that we developed and built and sold together. And that's why we felt those two individuals, as much as we had said, and that's why, you know, people mistake the statement that Ruto made, you know, when he stood up there and he said, there will be no politicians. It's true. There will be no politicians, right? Except myself and the Deputy President. Because we made it very clear to those two individuals, right, that on the political front, right, you didn't make it through. So we're taking
you're being
you on the basis
as
the rest of the cabinet secretaries, you know, as professionals, right, clearly, firmly dedicated to performing as professionals in your respective ministries. But the political activity will be undertaken by myself and my deputy president. And that's what Ruto meant, you know? Not the fact that we were not going to include them, but the political activity of the coalition, of the government, will be executed by myself and himself. Charity Ngilu, Najib Balala will work together with the other cabinet secretaries on the basis as professionals running their respective ministries.
Thank you so much for making your time to speak with us, and we wish you all the best in all your efforts for the country.
Thanks once again, Julie. Asante.